Um, the imagery there is just so lovely. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Well, let's do another one. Let's keep going. We don't have that much time, so we'll just keep
Okay.
plugging
Well,
through.
I've got another one. Well, another one that you picked. Witness. He said, I have danced in the shoes of my enemy, seen the tree of death and wept bitter tears. I have seen the rope and understood when they see you as less than human, when they call you savage, they then can do anything in the name of their God.
That is very powerful.
Thanks. It's another Peter pick.
Okay.
Morning glimpse. Sometimes I catch a glimpse of him sitting up, lost in morning meditation, and he looks like an old Hebrew prophet. I swear it's God's fire that has grayed his beard and temples. We've done this before. Walked the holy mountain, been at the water's edge, listened for that voice in the stillness. This man who in my youth seemed so full of innocence and isolation has fallen under the power of the word. He has been swept up in that awesome light, almost drowned in the nectar of music so sweet that one would proclaim it divine. I want to kiss his eyelids, feel that devotion in a woman's way. But no, this is not my business. This is something else, and I will not tempt his senses or lull him into desire. I will not put myself before him as a Jezebel. There is honor in this, watching as he prays, watching as he sits with eyes closed, listening for that still voice in the silence. I am reminded that each morning brings with it the hope of redemption.
Yes. So, would you say that these are sort of some of them really love poems, or?
Yeah, I guess they are. Spirit plays very heavily in our lives, Steve and myself. And we met on the steps of an ashram. I was going to learn about meditation, and he was living in the ashram at that time. And you can't get away from spirit.
Yeah.
So it infuses my work and infuses my life.
Yeah, you can really feel it as you're reading, even when I was reading the book, but even more now that you're speaking them aloud for us. Well, let's try another one.
This is one I wrote from one of my closest friends. He died of AIDS in '88. It's called Sandcastles. You were walking the water's edge, young again, gathering water in a pail, building sandcastles with your lover. He was intently bent over, sculpting terraces and gardens, building a moat around the castle, his skin brown from the sun, his hair curling in the spray. You leaned into him, touching his hand, tracing his knuckles. You smelled the salt on his skin, and your tongue snaked out of your mouth as you bent to lick his neck. That's for Guy Masson. I'm trying to pick the shorter ones because we got some long ones.
Well, we have about 12 minutes. No, what do we have now? About 4 minutes. So.
I'll read Triptych for you.
Okay.
That was one you chose. These are the people in my neighborhood. This is a triptych of sorrow. Outside my window, I hear her moaning again. It is 3 a.m. She cries out loud, a deep-throated sob. It is too late for this woman to be without her shadow, far too early for her to be out rambling the streets. She's talking loud and crying at the same time. She has surrendered her 2 sons to her aunt to raise. She's weary, gone into oblivion. She stops me in the street sometimes, talking loud, big-shotting, always trying to catch me in conversation. I wonder how it's come to this. One afternoon she called the fire department. There were sirens, and later an ambulance arrived. She told them she was worried about her babies inside. Said she'd been knocking for a long time, that no one had answered the door, and she was afraid, thought maybe they might all be dead in there. Such tactics are her weapons to keep control. She came to my house the other day to collect money for a neighbor who had died, showed me a list of those who gave. I asked the woman at the wash house about this. She said, "Don't give that girl no money. That man was buried last week." There is another woman who comes by and asks me to lend her a large sum of money. Our front windows face each other. I've lived here over 10 years, and we speak, and she sees assorted white men leave my door, so she assumes my pockets are deep and wants to know if I can help her out. It's the year of Indigenous people, and multicultural is the buzzword, and she's Mexican and Indian, and I'm Black and Creek, so I guess that makes us sisters. She's now befriended the widow living up the street, who is a walking stick, drinking herself to death, trying to fill a void in her heart, in her bed. Her man was supposed to be with her forever. He got clean and sober only to die of a brain tumor 3 or 4 years later. I wish you could see the face of sorrow. She's so tiny, but every morning she leaves for work walking with eyes that stare straight ahead. I wonder if she's seeing her husband, feeling his arms around her, holding her tight. The house up the street is a squat for punks, junkies, and homeless street kids. The neighbors get all worked up and call the police quite regularly. It's a 3-story ramshackle building that used to belong to the woman's father. She moans outside of my window at 3 a.m. The bank took it when he defaulted on a loan, threw her father out, threw 70 years of his life into the street. Tonight she's out there crying and saying that no one cares about her. She's saying her children don't care about their mama, that all they care about is a piece of crack. I wonder about distortion, about reality, and what it feels like to be caught in a net. Her father died recently. Someone told me he was a preacher, and his daughter had once sung in his church. They said she had a beautiful voice. And
we're going to have to stop there because we're running out of time. But thank you very much again for coming, Gail, and we hope you'll all tune in again next time for View for You.
Thank you.